Top 3 live event questions during COVID-19. HLS Show Me How. Hi, my name is Michael Giannotti, and I'm a Microsoft Teams technology specialist for the Microsoft Corporation, working in our healthcare and life sciences division. So what have been the top 3 questions asked of me? Well, there's been a lot that's come out, and I have to actually say, talking to customers and helping them deliver Microsoft Live events to their enterprise during this COVID time where they have all these remote workers, a desire for senior management to be able to communicate and reach out. It's been probably my most talked about and asked topic. But there's really 3 things that have bubbled up and continue to really grab my attention and the customers seem to be asking over and over. So number 1, how do we scale beyond the 10,000 limit for an all-hands live event? We'll talk about that in a moment. Number 2, how can we easily enable a bridge dial-in for users to just listen? Because we know that a live event is a streaming webcast. There is no concept of a bridge dial-in. However, we're going to talk about how you can quickly and easily deliver that. And finally, number 3, our home users are having a subpar experience. What is causing it? Again, one of the ones I hear over and over, look, these folks are at home. They're not even going through our corporate network, yet they're having buffering and all kinds of issues, and it's freezing. What is going on? We'll talk about that and tell you how to address those issues. All right, so for the first question, how do we scale beyond the 10,000 limit for an all-hands live event? As many of you know, if you're going to do a Microsoft 365 live event, whichever flavor, whether we're talking about a Teams live event, a Yammer live event, or a Stream live event, they're all the same infrastructure, and there is a cap of 10,000 concurrent live viewers for any given session that's being delivered. And some of the orgs have contacted me and said, look, Mike, we've got 30, 40,000. In Microsoft's case, we're well over 100,000, yet we do all company live events. So how's that done? So first of all, and I'm going to go through a couple of different scenarios and some of the things you need to look for and look out for. The first of which is this. What we find, even when it's an all-hands call, folks are typically, in the regular course of things, they may be busy with work. So at Microsoft, we have an all-company broadcast once a month with our CEO, and he talks about state of the business, things top of mind. He takes questions, and it's a great event. We do know, though, from traffic, from attendees, that we have never hit, for example, that 10,000. We don't hit that because most people are busy in their daily work. I'm not saying in this case, and so just hang on there. That most people are busy, and so they mostly watch it on demand. We also, when we publicize and push it out, we tell people, because of scale limits, if you want to see it live, you might want to tune in 5 or 10 minutes early, right? So that you can get on and ensure that you're one of the live, that if you're not able to attend live, it will be made available on demand immediately after the session. And that's important. This isn't my whole answer, but it's important to remember. Even if somebody misses the live delivery of that session, the second it's done, it's still, if you've had your settings right, that as it was delivered, that on-demand piece is there, right? All those fragmented MPEGs with the dynamic XML file and all that was built as it went, it's right there in the underlying Azure Media Services. So people can still go to that exact same link and watch, if you've enabled that, as is or as it was delivered, and have the similar experience. They obviously can't interact with any of the moderators or people that are there to post questions to the person, but certainly they can go and watch it. And you could even have moderators. You could advertise and say, look, they'll be on, let's say we're doing a Yammer one, right? they'll be there in that Yammer thread addressing questions for the next 6 hours or whatever, because maybe there's pertinent things that they can interact and answer directly. So that's available. You can do the same thing with the Teams live event, right? Or even if you did it stream and you embedded it in a page and then put something in there for interactivity. A lot of options there. So there's that live piece, 10,000 concurrent viewers, if they can all actually join at that time. And then there is that on-demand after the fact. You can also take the video that's rolled up, post it in the stream, make it available, put it on your home page, or in this case, it might be your crisis management portal, whatever the case might be. So that allows you to provide that live experience, and then people, as they're able to go and view it on demand. Thirdly, this is something you got to give a lot of thought around. It's not, this is my own thing that you can kind of look at if you want to. And I'm going to talk about the considerations. There is a cap of not only 10,000 concurrent attendees to a single session, there is a limit of the number of concurrent webcasts you can deliver, 15. Now, think about that. That means you could be delivering several live webcasts of different content at the same time, or several live webcasts of the same content. So you could assign and give different addresses or places to join that meeting for different groups. Now, how you split that up, there's a whole bunch of ways you can do that in hardware and what you're feeding into different encoders, right, to push it out. It could be different live Microsoft Teams live events. So maybe you have 4 or 5 of them where you have 4 or 5 computers, and you could have a bank just as simple as this. I'm using my webcam here, right? I can have a bank of PCs here, or with their webcams all in different angles. It might look a little funny with the angles, or I could even take it, I mean, we're talking lowbrow here, right? I could take 5 webcams with with a line that are running out from my different PCs, each one that's going to shoot it up, and I could have them all on one mount on a plate or something in front of me, look at them and get the exact same view across those delivery pieces, right? So the CEO could be at home. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind, right? This isn't just, there's a reason why we don't publish and talk about this. This is a great way to approach this. So number one, you have to have adequate bandwidth pushing those streams out. Now remember, if we're talking about a Teams live event, it is automatically going to push that stream out at a resolution of 720p. That's a lot of bits and bytes that we're pushing up. And then it's multiply times, however many we're going to do and deliver. And those are, you have to have enough bandwidth, and you have to have, if you're on a corporate network, and I'll provide a link in the post. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go to the actual post at aka.ms/HLS blog. There are considerations on premise to make sure that you're not blocking or constricting, throttling that traffic out. So make sure that's set. All right. So you're able to do that. Now, is it as elegant as just saying everybody go to one link? No. But you could then segment based off a division or other, some type of logical divisioning and say, look, if you're here, or you could even say, if you can't attend here, here are alternate links that we'll be broadcasting on. So there's a number of ways you can do that. And again, you can separate it by hardware, by software, well, actually you'd want to do one stream per hardware instance. Just want to be clear, because there's a lot of consumption of resources. Haven't had my first cup of coffee down yet. So, but that's something to think about. I've had a lot of people asking, look, we've got 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. It can be done, but you need to make sure you're set up to deliver that, right? You're adding some complexity, but certainly you could deliver, just like you could have 5 different sessions for different topics. In your organization, you could have 5 different streams being delivered for the exact same content delivery. So something to think about if that is the case. All right. So the second question I've been getting asked a lot relates to the first, right? Folks are saying, look, if we have more than 10,000, maybe I just want them to listen. So we want to provide a bridge line that if you can't attend, if you can't get on the live one, whether it's because we've maxed out or because perhaps you may not have a PC, you may be somewhere where you're on a mobile device like a phone or whatever. We want to just there's not going to be a lot of visual stuff other than talking head. We want to enable them to at least be able to listen to it. So how can we do a bridge? Can't you just do it like have a bridge line like we have at the Microsoft Teams meeting? So the short answer is no, but there are many ways around things. So if you desire to have a bridge line where people can listen, it's not actually all that hard. First of all, if you have, like I've got here's some VoIP phones, right? But they're conference style phones. They have I can do conference call style on the speaker phone where it's just open and it has noise canceling and all that. I'm sure you have those in your organization. Or you might have what I used to use to provide something similar. This is an old, it's still what I got. I don't have any of the new ones. But I've got a USB Jabra Puck. This is the old, which one is this? If I can see it. Man, I can't even, boy, my eyes are going. I don't know, the pin is 7510-109. I can't see where there's, model number. This is the PHS 002W. This thing is old. It's been around forever. But it works great. It has noise canceling. It has the speaker function. It has the mics built right in. And so what you can do is this, and this is a trick I used to do when I used to do broadcasts where I had a little studio in the MTC. We were the low budget network, and I had people that would call in, and then I would have a conversation, and everybody could hear them. Now, I would recommend if you want to have them listen in, that you, first of all, you do a mute all for attendees. They can listen, but they can't speak. Just do a mute all for them, right? Second, though, is this. I would take this, and here, if I can get it on the camera, I'll have to unroll. I had muted it for a second. So there is my microphone, right? I would take this, and I had a mic like this, if I can keep it there. It's a blue USB mic, and I would co-locate it. I'd put it on a thing sitting it right next to it. And number one, if I had people calling in over audio, they'd come over the speaker, and just like I'm sitting right next to this, with this co-located, to the audio system for the webcast, it sounded like the person was sitting next to me, right? But number two, if I'm talking to them because they had this, they could just be listening audio-wise on a bridge line or on their cell phone or whatever the case might be. So it's not hard to enable. It's not an out-of-the-box click and we're providing a bridge line. But it's simple. If you have bridge lines, if you have that, all you need to do is co-locate a speakerphone to the audio mic source, co-locate it next to that, and then have the person deliver the event just like they would. Recommend mute all. If you certainly you want to have them muted, because if you have anybody who's both listening on the bridge and watching the webcast, there'll be a disconnect between the sound. They should pick that up. It's just like when person calls in for a radio contest or a TV thing, and they all of a sudden the person who's on TV or on the radio says, "Hey, can you turn down the radio? Can you turn down the volume on your TV?" Because there's a disconnect, right, in delay. So you want to have that muted, or if you are going to have them do feedback, tell them mute and then allow them to either come off or on. But that's something you'll have to handle. But you'd handle it like any large-scale bridge line. So you can easily do that. Just get, like I said, you can get a speakerphone. You could get something like, probably have some of these around, and just co-locate it to your mic. have it dialed in and let that one have audio going, and people could listen just like you're listening to me now. You could do that there. So it's fairly straightforward. It's simple, and you can do it easily. It's not hard. So the last question of the top three that I've been getting asked is, look, we've got all these home users, right? They're working remote. Due to COVID, we are telling people they're working remote. They're using Microsoft Teams, I hope. Not like one of those competitors where I got bombed the other day with multiple videos when I got invited to a meeting and it got hacked because it was just a little numeric string that somebody could easily have hack into. But having said that, you're using Teams, right? You're doing all this stuff, you're remote. But my home users, when I do this live event, I don't get it. They're saying they have endless spinning or it's freezing. It's a subpar experience. What is causing that? So there's a couple of things to just keep in mind. Again, I have a link that will be in this post to my earlier article that's got all the resources about network config and all that. It includes home. So there's a couple of things to consider. Number one, bandwidth at the home might be constrained. So I am on fiber, I'm on fiber network. We've had no issues here, but I have some friends and colleagues who are on the old style cable networks where they know that the more people that are simultaneously on it, it constricts the bandwidth. So they've seen some issues around that. So you may be seeing that. And just overall, the network, all these people home, it's putting a big strain on it. But that's probably not the real reason. I'm going to go out and guess, right? What I have seen repeatedly is this. People make an assumption that, look, they're not on my network now. It should just work. They're at home. They're just connecting to the internet from their house. VPN. VPN is most probably the issue in that case. And again, I have a link to the resources and it has all the config stuff that you need to make sure. But what you essentially want to do is you want to ensure that your home users, for the addressing and stuff that we're doing with live events, it's actually not the same as a regular Teams meeting because we're using Azure Media Services. It's a different function. So you want to ensure that that traffic, when they're logged into their corporate asset, their PC from work or laptop they brought home, that you are split tunneling that so that when they go to hit that signal, they're not coming back into your network over that VPN and then back out to the internet. That's a huge bottleneck and will cause all kinds of performance issues. And in fact, I've had a number of customers I've talked to, and when that came up, first thing I said is, are you split tunneling this? And sure enough, no. So that's definitely something you want to check with. One other thing, just to throw this out there, so with Teams live events, it has an automatic bit rate it's going to push up, and we do variable bit rate delivery of the signal. Having said that, if you do want to lower the threshold of what's being delivered out, if you use external encoder, you can set that at the external coder, like I have OBS software, right? I can set what my transmission is up to that live event service that's on Azure Media Services. I can throttle that down and have it be like a 5K stream going up, or excuse me, 500K instead of 1.5 meg or whatever it might be. So I can lower that. That means that the top end is going to be what I transmitted up, and then variable bit rate delivered down from there. So we can do some constraining on what's being delivered to our users for optimal bandwidth and to lower the requirements from their end. But we do variable bit rate, but most frequently and the last 2 weeks, it's been without exception. When I've seen that, it turns out that was not being split tunneled. So have that checked. Your IT infrastructure people should be looking at that. Again, a link in this post on aka.ms/HLS blog. I have a link to where I have all the resources. In the first set of resources, I blocked it by IT, then about putting on the event, you know, the setup, delivery, production. And then I have some stuff about ECDN. So if you do have folks still on premise, something you want to consider. So split tunneling, making sure they're not VPNing in and going back out. That's a sure sign. That's a sure recipe for slow traffic. All right, so that's it. That's my top three things that have been asked. And again, I have been repeatedly talking to customers. I have another one I'm talking to in just a little bit about this same subject and about the first two questions that came up earlier, but I'm going to make sure we touch on number three. There, like I said, if you go to our blog, you can find myself, my colleagues, always at aka.ms/HLS blog, especially right now during the impact to hospitals and life science customers and all customers in general. We are doing a lot of posting to help try to help people with that remote worker scenario, different things that can be done. There's also some great posts there about things that are hospital specific in helping them to enable certain work streams like remote patient visits and triaging or crisis management communications, etc. You can always find us at aka.ms/HLS blog. That's aka.ms/HLS blog. You can also find me on some of my social channels if you want. Find me on LinkedIn. That's where I guess most people are doing that these days. That's at linkedin.com/in/Mike Giannotti, one word. And on Twitter at twitter.com/Giannotti. And finally, I have a Facebook page at facebook.com/mgiannotti. I have turned my regular Facebook account, that's just for immediate friends and family. But I do have a Facebook page where I continue to post out professional content. So feel free to, ping me on any one of those channels. The best is probably on LinkedIn, but we look forward to hearing from you. If you have questions, things you'd like to see us cover during this time, please let me know. And again, you can find myself and all my colleagues at aka.ms/HLS blog. I want to thank you for watching today. I hope you found these three things helpful. Take care, be safe, and as always, ciao.